Hello, everyone. I'm Jean-Claude Beyond Mystic. I had to think about that for a second. And welcome to this deep woo-woo episode entitled Tarot Reading by Medicine Woman Janine. You can find her work at Sending Ravens here on YouTube and also here at Tarot by Janine. Janine, welcome back. What's going on?
Hi, everybody. Oh, I'm at a secret location in the mountains.
Ooh, nice.
And Cash and I got a little getaway for a couple of days.
Cool.
And we have a very special birthday party to attend.
Nice. Awesome.
Yeah, a little boy's birthday party. It's going to be so much fun.
Cool.
And
how was the drive? Did you have any recollections of that old kind of vision about the signs on the road and what's going on? Did that come up at all while you were driving, maybe?
No, but every time when I stop for gas or do anything that involves numbers, okay, I always look at, okay, how are things going to go? How I ask the numbers to tell me what's going on. And I kept getting 10s, everything added up to 10. So 10s, like the Wheel of Fortune, everything's about to change. If it's been dreary, it flips to the exact opposite. And it's definitely been dreary, right? So, and I've been doing these USA Big Look. I did a few days ago. I did a Canadian and a UK look today on Tarot by Janine. And tomorrow they'll have guys putting up my Australian and New Zealand look. So I'm all really fascinating situations. Seems to make a lot of sense to what's going on. So make sure you have a look at those looks.
Okay, very good. And you said the Australian one is coming up tomorrow here on Tarot by Janine, or the Sending Raven one?
Tarot by Janine's gonna put up
okay,
Australia and New Zealand.
Okay, very good. Well, I'm sure a lot of people here watching the show tonight will be eager to watch those. There's a lot. And we have a few things actually on the news board, on the slide deck for tonight on at least Australia, maybe New Zealand as well. So, guys, we have a lot to go through tonight. And as you can see, Janine is in a different location. And Janine is also testing out the Medicine Woman, a different deck. Explain your deck here tonight and what's different about it.
This is the medicine cards. And I thought they suited the atmosphere. Okay, so they're all totem animal, right? And their energies based in the indigenous sort of ideas of what each totem animal might mean. But you can absolutely read situations with them. I use these for years as my main deck. So I thought it'd be fun to use them in such an atmosphere that I am.
Perfect. Okay, that sounds very good. And explain a little bit, maybe the experience you already have with this deck.
Oh, you mean how many years I worked with it?
Yeah. So this is not new to you. You've used this deck before, not on the show, but yeah.
For years. And I even used to teach children with this deck back in the day, because kids really relate to the energies of different animals or what their totem being like. So energetically, what that energy might bring, right?
Okay.
So to me, it's like a real natural way to read energies, right? It's just a whole nother. Divining tools come in so many different forms, and this is by far one of my favorite, other than the actual tarot.
Okay. Susie Gemini says, I love this deck. Okay. Maybe we'll see how the flow goes, but we might do a little bit more personal questions with that deck, or do you want to do more news items with that deck, or whatever, same format as usual?
No, you can do whatever. Like
whatever. Okay.
I could have a deck of playing cards and make it work. Like I'm hilarious that way. Like I've gone to parties where I was, asked to a tarot party. This happened just once in all my career, and I forgot my tarot cards. So I had a house way out in the boonies without my tarot deck. Okay. And so I discreetly asked the hostess for a deck of playing cards, and I read everybody's with the deck of playing cards, and it was like one of the best parties I ever did. Another time, I just for fun, I used everybody's phone numbers. So just the part, not their first beginning, but the last 4 digits of their phone numbers. And I did numerology on the spot for a whole group. And it was another really good party with that.
Wow.
Yeah, cool. You can be really creative with energy, right?
Well, I got it. Okay. Before we get into the news, I see all the questions coming up on the Discord, and somebody's asking about their totem. Wait, just scroll back. Okay, Len. Well, since you have this card deck, let's try that. Let that be interesting. Len from the Insider Access Pass says, "Question: what is my totem spirit animal and why?" From Len.
Ooh, Len. Otter. Okay, otter. So there's probably many, but this would be the overview one, kind of like your sun sign in an astrology chart, sort of the main energy. But there's probably, you can have all kinds of totems. But this, since he's asking what is his main, it's sort of like the main totem. Now, otter energy is unconditional love and very playful. And it's the gift of divine feminine. Interesting. So he's probably been a female in past lives, and that's a great thing because you can really understand women this lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
It says that you're playful and fun, and you never you don't usually go to jealousy in relationships. You're more playful, and you're okay with sharing a little bit, as long as it doesn't step on too many toes. But you're not the obsessed. Keep everybody to yourself type. So that's interesting.
Wow, cool.
Okay.
Len. Well, awesome. First question on topic, of course, and somebody else is having fun, Mitchell, and he says, "Oh, Cliff High is my spirit animal." Okay. Yeah, that's pretty cool. We could do a whole dive into that one. We should do the Cliff High cards. All right. While we wait for some other people here to log on into this live stream, let me give you a quick update on this Who's Got Talent. I want to let you know that Jenny Alicia on the screen now, she's one of our amazing monitors. She is chairing our selection committee. And so here she is at our super secret meditation spot in the wilderness where she was doing her first triage of that crazy big list that we had on closing night Friday last week. So let me go back to her email here and give you the highlights here. So altogether, there's 325 participants. So it went up quite a bit since the last show. So it's a big number for our committee here to tackle, but they're up for the task. They're really happy about it. They're saying so far it's absolutely amazing, the talent that's on this list. Wow. And like you said the other day, Janine, they're like, oh my God, how are we going to whittle this down to 10? We don't know. But that's the other thing too. Janine and I were struggling to figure out how many semi-finalists we would do for the first show to make sense. Yeah. And Janine pulled some cards on that. Explain what you pulled and why we have that number, Janine.
Yeah, I got a 10 both times.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like you played around with 12 after I got the 10 the first time, and then I got another 10. And it's like, no, it's 10.
10. That it is. And what does 10 say in all of this too? Like,
yeah, well, the Wheel of Fortune again, changing everything. I have a feeling this show could be the beginning of something because the Wheel of Fortune, destiny. Mm-hmm. So it could start a whole trend with things like this. I got a feeling, and changes the whole energy because now we can stop talking about, like it's almost like we're on here talking about the news because it's necessary just to get through this. And so people don't literally lose their minds in this time. Right. Okay. But then all of a sudden the trend could go to having more fun again, enjoying life again, and entertaining ourselves again, and not just having to sort of hack away at and try to understand all the secret hidden things that are going on in the world. It's like it'll change for a more positive and a little more enjoyment in life again.
I gotta say, I got a bunch of comments underneath the video, I guess, pilot episode you and I produced last week, and most of the comments were exactly that, like, oh my God, we need this right now. So cool. Speaking about that Wheel of Fortune and the abundance, I wanted to share with you my first promo video, and we're going to have quite a few of these in the show, but let me bring this up for you guys, just to give you a taste of how maybe a Wheel of Fortune this can be for you if you are right now a contestant on this list. So let's play this.
Hi, my name is Carla from Ascension Organize. So since being on the Beyond Mystic show with Jean-Claude and Janine, my life has changed completely. what started as a personal passion project of creating crystal pyramids and orgonites grew overnight to a new expansive career. My Etsy orders went up more than 3,000%, almost to the point that Etsy had to shut down my website to justify all that bona fide traffic. So it was a total game changer. Thank you so much to Jen, Claude, and Janine for that opportunity, and to all the Beyond Mystic fans. You guys have created an abundance in my life that I could never have imagined, and I am so grateful to be part of this new human organic economy that we're building together. Good luck, all the luck to all the Who's Got Talents participants. I love you all, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
All right. I love Carla. She's just amazing. And she's right on point with her messaging as always. So there you go, folks. If you're on the list, perhaps you will be one of the next Carlos of the world. And on that note, she did email me today also to let me know that finally Etsy put her out of jail here. She was in jail for a couple of days here as Etsy was investigating all of this new incredible traffic. So this is all back up to you guys now. And if you're interested in getting some of these amazing pyramids, and as I can see, there's a lot of people with them in their carts already. So might not want to wait too long. If you're interested in those, let me bring that link back to the live chat for you guys. And they're probably also in the description box below. But at any rate, you're looking for Ascension Organites here on Etsy. And don't forget your coupon code Beyond Mystic, 10% on all of these amazing pyramids. Now, going back to Jenny Alicia on the screen here, she's saying a big thank you to Jim and Laura. Those two are also on the selection committee. They met today for the first time, the three of them, through Zoom to go through this list here for us. So let me go back to that quick update for you guys here, and we'll get back to the show here in a second. Where did I go, Jenny? Hold on. I lost one of them. Uh-oh. Hold on a second. This is what happens on a live show when everything is scrolling by so fast. I don't want to forget anything because Jenny did a lot of work here. Okay, so yes, 325 participants. We are going to have 10 semifinalists and 20 runner-ups. In those 20 runner-ups, a lot of you have suggested that, hey, JC, if there's too much talent for that first group, maybe make a list on your website of all of those amazing runner-ups so that people can still find them and look at their products. So Jenny, Jim, and Laura are also going to be adding to with us here 20 additional runner-ups as we move forward. Now, next week, as soon as they're done through that first list, we are going to send out an email to those finalists asking them to produce a 2-minute video clip to explain to us why they are of an energy match with the Beyond Mystic audience. So guys, stay tuned for that. You're eventually going to receive an email from Jenny here at Beyond Mystic. The other thing too, I'm looking for a pro bono lawyer. If you guys are out there and you want to participate with us here, I really need some help creating some release forms for the candidates and also some affiliate program forms just to do everything correctly. We're trying to do this all on the up and up and be transparent with everyone. So somebody suggested to me that we might do better here to have some paperwork. So if you have experience with that and you want to help us out, please reach me with the contact form at beyondmystic.net. So big thank you for that. And also, oh yeah, there was a few applicants who applied more than once. And then at first I said, oh, maybe these people are trying to game the system. But I realized that they came back and provided an addendum after they watched our show that we produced last week because we gave a little bit more information. So that is absolutely correct. Jenny here was working very hard to consolidate all of those fields for you guys. So yes, we got all of those as well. So thank you everyone for those updates. And finally, a few of you in the submission forms had also suggested that you wanted to give products for the PayPal tip jar. And as much as I do appreciate that, it's absolutely generous of you. I thought that perhaps during this context, it wouldn't be appropriate for me to accept any of those gifts as it would create a conflict of interest. So for now, thank you, but no thank you for those gifts. But after the contest is over, if you still wish to provide some of these gifts for our donation tip jar, please at that point do communicate with us again. I just wanted to make sure again that there's no conflict of interest there for you guys. Okay, so that's it for the updates. A big thank you to Jenny and the committee, Jim and Laura, and I'll be checking up on you here in the next couple of days as you guys continue to work this amazing list of ours. Okay, first news item. Let me bring this up for you here, Janine. Where did you go? Okay, so speaking of Australia, We're hearing reports now that the Army is beginning to transfer, we'll just say, positive cases and their contacts to some camps. We'll just say that for now. Can we pull some cards here and see how this deck can give us some insight here as to how far perhaps this is going to go? Or perhaps is there another story here brewing underneath the surface that we don't understand?
Oh, wow. Okay. Okay, really deep secrets. So it's a way to uncover deep secrets. This is in the past, that boar. So boar is like aggressive energy. I feel like we got part of the movie here. We got part of the movie. We've got skunk in the middle, which is about kind of telling fibs in a way, or just not representing your energy properly, not being honest about energy, not being direct about energy. I don't think that's a true representation. I think that's a way to scare people into, because here's the outcome, the eagle. And it's like, this is like the world card. It would be like the best outcome ever. So it's not this, even like the American eagle, if you think about it. So that's Mr. T and the white hats. I think we got a fake situation that's part of the movie. And it seems ludicrous, but even that trial that recently with this Kyle fellow, that was all fake, you guys.
Uh-huh.
It was all fake. Everything we get around it that was completely generated, and might have started out by the bad guys trying to take the pow-pows away from people in the US.
Yeah.
Okay, you know what I'm talking about? Michael Jaco likes to call them pow-pows. Okay, so that's probably true, but then it all got hijacked by the good guys, and they switched it all around and used it to show how corrupt the media is, and how the legal system is, when it's working properly, what it looks like, and what it looks like when it's not working properly. Like, people keep coming after them.
Right.
It was such a joke right from the get-go that the whole thing was fake. So they got flipped on their butts, their little scheme.
Yeah. Well, let me bring that up while you're talking about that. Then we just posted this. You and I recorded this late last night. It's on the Insider Access Pass now, and this is episode 32. We got into quite a bit of this material, and oh my God, I haven't produced the topics list for the pay-per-view yet. That'll probably go tomorrow or Wednesday on the schedule now. But anyways, for you Insider Access Pass members, the episode is ready now, and this one will be coming up here again, maybe tomorrow or Wednesday for the public at large here on the pay-per-view. A really cool episode. There's so many things in there, especially on the Epstein and company things that we could never get away with talking on here. And that was pretty mind-boggling, including I'll say the origin of Ghislaine. I'll just say that for here, and it's not what you think. Yeah, again, it's one of those shows that even Janine and I were like kind of like jaw dropped for a moment there, even though we're not surprised at anything anymore. That kind of like, wow, okay. Freedom Family says, hey, I've seen that camp. That's a mining camp. I've stayed there. Yeah, here in Canada too, they were using these fake training ORs with fake dummies, telling us that, of course, in the news there was something else happening there where in fact there wasn't, and they got caught red-handed. That was the CBC just last week, by the way. Okay, let me see if I can go back to this one here. This is interesting here. You and I have to choose the words carefully, but basically what the Army is saying here is that for those who have natural defenses, we'll just call it that, and they have the mechanisms within themselves to defend themselves, they should be exempt. And so what they're suggesting here is that we test the armed forces to see if their defenses are natural, and if so, they should be exempt. And I was thinking, that's interesting that it's coming from the Army. Are they giving us also, for the population at large, a tool here to maybe avoid some of these mandates, or at least to break down some of these mandates around the world? So first, let's pull some cards and see, why is the Army pushing this one out right now at this time? What's behind this news story?
Oh, I think you're right. This is a deceiver card. Okay, so the story is not what it seems, right? Because owls have deceiver feathers. So it doesn't mean you're a deceiver if you have owl medicine. You're just really good at hiding your true agenda, right? So there's like, you could be very stealth. because owls hunt in the dark. They can see in the dark, and their feathers are very silent. So the real thing that's going on is not being exposed there. Again, we've got a deception. So what do you think? What do you think's the deception there? Oh, I see. Okay, so they're saying. I feel like you're right about it because they're exposing something. And this is a crow law card. So one of my favorite totems. You know, I love crows and ravens. So crow is crow law. So it's like justice. Okay. So we've been deceived about the whole agenda. And this is feeding us a little something, maybe even literally we could use in court. So I think you're right, because this card could be around court systems because it's about karma and justice.
Okay, now it started to make sense.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, because reading through it, I was kind of like, it's a little wonky. Like, it's not clear the direction of where this article was going, other than to me, it was saying, oh no, we're hint, hint, wink, wink, and they read between the lines here. There's a defense for you.
Yeah.
So that's very interesting. Okay. Quick thanks to JC and Janine. It's always uplifting. Thank you. I appreciate that. Man, the chat is going really, really fast. Okay. JC, okay, let me try to grab this one. It was really quick. Okay, JC, please, can we have a card on an Australian pregnant woman being turned away from hospital until they are double? My friend got turned away. Wow. Okay. How do we want to tackle this one, Janine?
Wow. Well, the first thing I'd say to that person is go find yourself. I wouldn't even go near a hospital in the state they're in. And how much you don't trust them. I wouldn't go near them trying to have a baby. You can have a safe baby with midwives. Find a midwife who doesn't believe in the agendas. I wouldn't let anyone near me working with me who's silly enough to fall for the BS.
Right.
First thing, like it's a total blessing in disguise.
It might be because what they do to the children in the hospital when they take them away from you. We can do a whole show. We can do a whole show on that. Yeah.
You know, I got to tell you something funny that happened when my son was born. Okay, so I was in my 40s and I had a baby, and he had the like hair like his dad's. His dad's Caribbean, and he had the absolutely most stunning pitch black and super, super wavy hair, which has turned into the most spectacular afro you've ever seen. My boy is perfection to gaze upon.
He's a good-looking kid. You sent me a picture.
He's good-looking. Yeah, of course.
Of course.
Spectacular as well. But I could just be.
No.
Anyway, we all think our kids are perfect anyway.
Right.
Well, I do for sure. But the nurse took him away, okay, and brought him back, and his hair was straight. So she'd washed his hair, and it took months, about 4 months to get it to it, and then the curl came back. I have no idea what that person did. I was so upset. I was like, what the heck did she do to my boy?
Right. Wow.
I was so upset. You know how you are super emotional. Well, I don't know if maybe in another lifetime you can remember. You get so emotional right after having a baby. Okay. Anyway, I was so upset that he had straight hair, and it stayed straight for about 3 months, and then now it's totally slowly became super, super curly again. But yeah, they do weird. Who knows what she did?
Wow. Okay. Okay. So first, look for natural birthing and midwives. Do we want to pull cards on maybe? I want to take an outcome of the medical system here. I'm going to lead you into another question right after this too. Are we seeing a complete dismantling, almost by design, of the medical industry as well? Because there's something else coming up behind the screen here that basically necessitates a redesigning from the ground up of the healthcare system. Is that what also we're seeing here?
So I got this card for the woman, something to keep in mind. Okay, so A to B in her current situation. This card is play dead like armadillo and have really, really, really good boundaries. So it's probably a really, really good idea for her to, she should just slink away and go find herself a really good, somebody reputable who will help her birth properly. Right? Because this card says she needs her armor on right now, especially around the healthcare system. They're your enemy. Hello. They're literally become the gas chambers of this situation.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that leads me into my next question, and let me see on that if it's finished uploading here for the Insider Access Pass members. No, okay. I recorded earlier today with Jim Willie, folks. So you guys were emailing me, "Hey, when's Jim coming back on?" Okay, he was on today. We did the uncensored version. It's uploading now for the Insider Access Pass members. Will be available today or tomorrow or the day after for pay-per-view. And he's also going to be on the show on Friday. On a live stream for a more sanitary version, as much as we can have Jim on a sanitary version. But anyways, it was a great show today. But he mentioned something about the healthcare situation, so I'm happy we're talking about that. He said that he's getting reports. Okay, well, let's take a step back. We've heard reports that a lot of these hospitals have closed down a portion of the hospital. So we've seen that here in Ontario also, but we've heard that in North America in a couple of places. And for example, like they would shut down the West Wing and they would concentrate the patients on. And so he was asking, well, what are they doing with that wing that's closed down? What are they doing with that equipment? There's a lot of money standing there. What's going on there? And what he's getting as reports is that perhaps in some of these closed down wings of hospitals, as they're turning people away and all this stuff, they're introducing med bed technologies. And this has to do in phase one. He talked about 3 phases of them being implemented. But the first wave was, in fact, to help the children that have been rescued. Can we pull some cards on that? And he said that this, from what he's getting from insiders, is that this could be a 3-year plan of bringing up this technology and completely reshaping our healthcare. So for a lot of people who are going to lose their jobs, get hanged for some of the atrocious things they've done in the healthcare system, he didn't seem to be all that worried, seeing as that we might have no use for these people anyways moving forward if this technology is in fact coming up just behind the scene. So let's pull some cards on that.
Well, first card I pulled was Turtle, which is about healing waters. Interesting. So it's about tears and healing, something to do with using water for healing. So that's interesting. But it is a healing and healer card.
Okay.
Right. But it attunes with actual waters of healing, including your own tears. So that's interesting. And then I got this creative card to help talk about it. So creativity. So being very creative with a healing technique. Well, a very healing technique. I mean, maybe we are talking about med beds, or there's doing something or allowing the use. Certainly I'm not getting nefarious cards. I'm getting really good cards. Hawk says we're going to hear about it really soon because Hawk brings clarity. It's like the 6 of Swords card. So we're going to hear about this really soon, but there's nothing nefarious. So they're actually utilizing that. So even though the hospitals, the front end, and I believe everything's been taken over and flipped by the good guys. So maybe in the process of, so the bad guys were in charge of the hospitals and turned, well, the whole medical system into a tyrannous system. But right. I feel like once things got sort of infiltrated by the White Hat Alliance, and that could include Off-Worlder, like that's a really big group apparently. I feel like maybe that's also been obviously infiltrated, and now they're starting to flip things. But they needed that narrative. They needed it to look like, so we would understand not to trust this thing that was created by the Black Hats. The whole medical system was created by the Black Hats. Mm-hmm. All natural healers were stomped out, turned into witches, and you were told they were bad. Doulas were burned at the stake as witches, birthers. These were just healing women. There probably wasn't hardly a real witch, as they called it, among them. The real witches, demons, were the people doing the burning at the stake.
Right.
Obviously. Well, we know that now. So they were just trying to repress the knowledge of all of these wise women. Also to take their property out of their hands, because in the Celtic system, the women, when things went from the woman, so the last name stayed with the feminine, and all the properties, because the guys were always out warring for the king, sometimes for 10, 20 years at a time. And you didn't keep track of maybe who was the father of, by the time you had your third child. We don't know, because our initial partner's been gone for 15 years. So they took up with another partner. I mean, that just makes sense. And they had a couple more kids. You know what I mean? So it's just natural, just the way they did things. They didn't like till death do us part. I mean, who came up with that ridiculous way of partnering? It doesn't even make sense. Most humans are not monogamous for life. Like, that's a fascinating situation to try to bind people together till death do us part. Talk about misery. I mean, I know some people can figure that out. I got a Venus in Aries, 7 years tops, I could see.
Right.
And it's like, let's check out something new. If I met somebody that I could actually tolerate for my entire life, that'd be a miracle. But I don't know who could tolerate me. We should grow and evolve. Hello. Let each other go experience something else. It's absurd. Even our marriage system, all of our systems were created to repress us and imprison us, in particular women.
Absolutely. Okay, let me follow up on another thing here, and I won't get into too much detail because we might get in trouble. Is it possible that the company in front of us now, it's been in the news, there's been a lot of this political hostage kind of situation here for the last little while, it's been in the news. Is it possible that this company, yes, the main story that we see, the microchips, the telephones, the maybe hacking behind computers and firewalls and all that, that's the cover story. Is it possible that the real story is that these people might be involved in the creation of those med beds? And that's why we're seeing all of this fighting here. But of course, they're not telling us what they're really fighting about. Let's see what the cards say on that.
Wow, I think you got a point there, because I'm going to use this as an ace. This is the top, and this is already in the background. So it's already in the background. And then skunk came up, and skunk is about misrepresenting things and not being entirely honest. So they're misrepresenting it, but then all around it is really positive cards. This would be almost like the King of Pentacles, or a Pentacle card in a really well aspected way, because this is about patience, perseverance, unconditional love, like we know dogs have for humans for the most part, and dedication. Okay, so they've been dedicated to something, but they're being really tricky, Fox, about how they're presenting whatever those guys look like they're doing. So I think with that ace as the first card, like that eagle, I think that's a yes.
Okay. Wow. Wow. Okay, man, we're gonna have to do a whole other show, an investigation show on this, because that just opened up quite a few more things for me. Wow. Okay. And a lot of people are interested in the med bed story, so that's fascinating. And the other thing I wanted to say, you and I have been picking up, we've had conversations here in the live streams, that our lifespans were about to change, and that we needed to get to wherever this date was, that we would have access maybe to a game changer type of thing. And where you were at the moment of time you got to that game changer determination line would basically determine how much life you would have ahead of you. That would be maybe in phase 1, and then phase 2, they could maybe eventually get to age regression and all that stuff with your telomeres. But man, that's starting to be very interesting. Okay, enough for that one. We'll do a whole show on that. There's a lot there of interest. Jenny B on the screen. She says, fabulous birth guide I've come across, and she has a link there, so you guys want to go check that out. And Jenny B is also a volunteer here on Beyond Mystic. She's helping me create our swag shop for the Beyond Mystic audience. And so just as a cutie, let me bring up this little poster here. So this is a nice little long sleeve shirt for toddlers. It's one of the examples here of the products that we're going to have on our site. So thank you so much, Jenny, for doing all of that work. The guys are testing now behind the scenes the actual shop itself and how that's going to integrate with everything else. But you guys have been asking that for a while here. Some specialty t-shirts that maybe say absurd on them. So Jenny's working on that as well. We're going to have a lot of fun together. So big thank you again to Jenny also for volunteering and helping me out with all of that. I really appreciate that. Okay, let's see here. This is interesting. Mr. O'Keefe today in the Supreme Court, we hear that the Supreme Court refused to accept the appeal from the last appellate court. What's going on here? Are they trying to overstep their power and crush journalism as we would like to see it? Or is there another play here, perhaps bargaining with the actual information in the said diary? What's really at case here, and what are these judges actually and lawyers actually bickering about? I want to know.
Isn't this weird? So we've got these really interesting cards. Okay, so we've got opossum. So they're waiting something down the road. This is going to actually create something way better down the road, because we've got the magic card, which would be the raven. So raven's about healing magic. And then the opossum. So opossum plays dead and then jumps up when you least expect it. Opossum is like, you're very tricky. You never know what that little opossum and when it's going to come to life again. So I feel like there's something going on they're going to use later with this. None of this looks like, again, we've got this teacher card. So there's some kind of lesson here for us to glean. So maybe the lesson is how the courts are repressing knowledge. Okay. But at the same time, later, it turns to our advantage, the whole situation. So our advantage, and here's the outcome, which is the Black Panther. I love this card too. The Black Panther's really intense, stealth, but incredibly integral. Lots of integrity with the Panther, and only goes to its own truth and truth and justice from a very individual perspective of what that is. Mm-hmm. And it's its own personal integrity. So I got a feeling something will come of this later, where this will come in handy, that this happened, maybe to take down the legal system and show what they've been up to, or somehow there's something going on in the background that they're going to use with this.
Okay. Yeah, you and I pulled some cards on the I think it was on a pay-per-view on the Saturday or the last Friday one. And we said that, yeah, there was strategy involved here to get some of this material actually within the judiciary system. So that could be very interesting moving forward. And Cliff, in his video, I think today or yesterday, he was also talking about the fact that this trial that so far has not yet so much attention could eventually lead to a big snowball effect and everybody talking about that particular aspect. And it is a big aspect here in the awakening process, and it's bubbling down or pushing down on our field right now. All right. Let me get back to some PayPal tip jars donations. So thank you so much, everyone. And tonight we are also giving away another Insider Access Pass membership. This is a 1-year membership, and this was that same individual who wished to remain anonymous but who had bought 2 passes to give away to the audience members. So big thank you to that person. If you're watching the screen tonight, thank you again. And anything we can do to support you as well, let us know if that is ever the case, but we will respect your wish to remain anonymous. So 1 Insider Access Pass member going to the PayPal tip jar tonight. Last week's, I've already been in contact and they've already gotten their access codes and all that, so that's really cool. So tonight, as winner, I will announce this Wednesday. In the meantime, if you guys are looking for the Insider Access Pass, please use the coupon code Stay Connected. It will give you 10% off, and Janine and I keep extending that one because of everything that's going around the world right now. So please give that a try. There's a lot there in that library. Okay, so PayPal tip jar. So let me go back here. Mary Clark, what does she say? Thank you for your extremely useful information. And Warren, sometimes even silliness that makes me give a go. Okay, love you both. Love you too. Hey, there's no question there, Mary Clark. Why don't we pull a card anyways for Mary? What does universe want Mary Clark to know? Thank you so much. And Mary, that's a very generous donation. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that.
Dear, gentleness, unconditional love and gentleness, and the dog year, or the dog totem, which is like dedication. The only thing you got to be like with these two cards are so gentle, and everybody comes first in front of them. You have to be careful maybe not to put everybody before yourself. You need to maybe step up with, especially the dog and the deer together. You might want to, because the deer is so gentle and unassuming, which is lovely and everything, humility and sweetness. And then the dog is sometimes can be too dedicated, even to owners that don't deserve it, that sort of thing, right? Not that we should own even pets. Like that's why I don't have a pet, because you have to have them on leashes a lot, and like I have cats. And they literally roam the neighborhood. They can do whatever they want. My cats, right? Like I love my cats, and they're their own bosses, and that's how I like to have animals around me. But the dog totem needs to be careful that they don't undervalue themselves, and the deer might have a bit of that too. So possibly a reminder to self-love and put yourself as equal to all of those people you're loving and taking care of.
Wow. That's a great reading. Thank you so much, Mary. I appreciate that. Speaking of cats, one is alone. The coupon code has expired. And would you believe it or not, you're right. I forgot to renew it tonight before the show. So let me do that right now, guys. I'm sorry about that. There you go. And update. Sorry, I'm on a different screen here. Okay, so you guys you should be good to go now. Give that a try. And thank you for letting me know. I would have been embarrassed if that wasn't working tonight. So many things to do on these live shows all at the same time. Okay, Eduardo Alarcon. Wow, that's a hard name to pronounce. Eduardo. Okay. Hope I get chosen this time. Hi, Janine, JC. I've been spreading info since the beginning of the plan. Okay, the letter, I see it. And want to know what's my role after DT is back. There's two questions here, and also, what am I doing? Let's do the first part of that. He's assuming here that DT is coming back, and he feels that he's going to have a role there. Let's try to pull from the cards to help him out on that one. And folks, please try to make it one question. We're going to try to get as many questions as we can. Thank you, Eduardo, for the question. So what's his role here in this perhaps changeover?
Some kind of leadership and spoken word or written word, because Hawk shares information. Hawk channels and then gets the message out to the people. A big one of my totems is Hawk. I was given a Hawk fan with hawk feathers from the medicine man from the Haida Gwaii that worked with me. When I was working with the medicine man in the Haida Gwaii, that the hawk was my biggest totem at that time. So Hawk is a channeler. And then the mountain lion is a leader. Okay, a kind and benevolent leader, but a leader. Because remember, mountain lions, the female, so the feminine mountain lion, the female of the two, she feeds her whole group, right? So it's the females that go hunting. So it's saying you need to be the benevolent leader through your words and spoken word and or written word. So writing, blogging, vlogging, showing, get on YouTube. Like it feels like you're going to get the word out or continue to get the word out even after DT is back seated. You're going to have to continue maybe with telling the story, because a lot of people are going to need to get caught up to speed. Don't forget, 3/4 of the world haven't a clue what just happened. Okay, what's happening? They don't have a clue. Wow. They think everything's just slowly going back to supposedly normal, right? It's like, are you kidding me? Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Man, there's a couple of great questions here. I'm having trouble which one to choose. Some of them are delicate for the show, guys. Making it hard for me to pick you. Okay. Well, here's another totem animal. Let's do that one. Seeing as we have this deck, this is from Brandy. Okay, I'll just say Brandy. I'll just say your first name, Brandy. And okay, love you guys. Please ask the cards, what is my totem animal, and will they guide me to my calling? Great question, Brandy. Thank you. A lot of people are interested in their totem animals. There's a bunch of questions, Janine.
Hummingbird. Beautiful. So hummingbird cannot be owned by anyone. They're freedom lovers. They love freedom. Okay, you can't really hold on to a hummingbird. It'll pass away. You can't hold. You have to let them free, right? But they bring joy wherever they go. They're things of beauty and bring joy. So she is that Brandy?
Yep.
Okay, we're assuming that could be a she, is bringing, or whoever it is bringing joy, and nobody can own this energy. It is to be shared, and a bit Gemini-like, because it flits around, the hummingbird flits around. So they don't stay anywhere too long, but they bring so much joy wherever they go. So the bringers of joy, not to be owned though. So never try to own those hummingbirds.
Right. Okay. Wow. All right. Let me see if I can get an insider access pass. Lakeside Laura. Okay, this is from the insider access pass. This is a good one. Gotta ask, what is my connection to the Order of the Rose in Egypt? Much love to you both. Lakeside Laura. What is her connection to the Order of the Rose in Egypt?
Wow. Oh boy. Oh boy. Okay. She was a very prominent, assertive medicine person and or shaman and or whatever they would be called in that area of the world. Okay, so we've got the bat in the middle, so the bat, and then this very witchy owl. So big magic, and was even like aggressive.
You mean like a high priestess?
Yes. Perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, high priestess, and even so very high priestess with that. And then this card is truly died the shaman death and rebirthed, so was very adept, like incredibly powerful. Whoops. And then the badger, really assertive, and badger never lets go. So you would have stuck that whole lifetime to the very end. Like you wouldn't have been told to get off that path. Nobody could tell the badger to do anything, actually. You were incredibly powerful, steadfast, and a high priestess or a priest, but of the good, like a good one, but incredibly tenacious, like the badger, and couldn't be taken away from once you got onto something.
Also tie into the Fountain of Youth and the waters at the Sacred Gate, and the Sisterhood of the Rose would also be, well, she didn't say the Sisterhood of the Rose, she said the Order of the Rose. At any rate, some of these esoteric knowledges and teachings are still there. So perhaps Lakeside Laura has this in her DNA.
And then we've got Dragonfly, just for the big, just overview. Dragonfly is very magical. So she learned the art of even shape-shifting in that lifetime.
Wow.
That very magical, very high up priestess or priest. So,
Wow.
yeah. Wow.
Very fascinating. Okay, Lakeside Laura. Who knew? All right. Renee, let me go back here. Renee is asking, Easy one here to answer. Maybe for the cards, timing-wise, will the EBS happen in 2021? What's the latest checkup?
We'll see what kind of creature comes up. Do we got a fast-moving one, a slow? Ooh, porcupine. Porcupine. Okay, they're kind of slow. Okay, but porcupine's also like really protective, but playful. So there's this playful little creature that isn't trying to hurt anybody, but has this natural mechanism that protects it. So I feel like what that's saying is, so it wants to go ahead, but there's all of these things that could trigger those quills to come out or things to take longer, maybe. Okay, so it depends. For instance, there's been a whole bunch of holdups to the EBS, they've said. And one of the latest ones they're saying is that somebody kidnapped for a short time, but they got him back. Baron Trump. That's the latest. Yeah, I just heard that actually yesterday. And Phil's been talking about it on his rapid fire and his question and answer kind of session. Yeah, so, but I heard about it from a few other sources too. So porcupines going forward, but there's all these things that could trigger it either to start or to be held up. So I feel like that's a work in progress, and there isn't a set. I think there's things that have to come first and plays that have to be in place, and then it comes. But porcupine goes slowly forward too. So it's coming, but I don't think it wants to tell us exactly when, because there's all these things that could trigger a response or a lack of it.
It's a prickly situation.
Prickly situation. Good one.
Speaking of Phil and rapid fire, people were asking us last week if we could pull cards on whether or not they would overturn California. I did ask that to Jim Willie today. I said, did you have any insight over that? And he says, no. He says, what I'm getting is a lot more states are more ahead of the game in that process. But then I opined with him in the live show today on the pay-per-view live show. I said, is it possible that maybe the military is working behind the scenes? Not the judicial stuff that we're seeing in the news with Arizona and all that stuff, but maybe the military. And they're going for California because if they turn California, the whole game is over for all the rest of those supposed holdouts of Democrat states in the U.S.
That looks like it makes sense. So what they're doing is they're using badger medicine. Badger's pushing something through, but it's in the background because we've got the bat. So the bat's hidden and dies a death and rebirths. So in order to rebirth the states back to maybe the original, sort of like to take away that corporation that sort of hijacked the U.S.
Right.
And turned it into this obscene, absurd. Yeah, I got a feeling, and Badgers really pushes something. They're pushing for it there.
Okay.
For it because it'll rebirth everything really fast, like you said.
It could be. Because, I mean, again, if they overturn California, one of the biggest Democratic strongholds, then everything else falls apart after that. Yeah. It could, and Jim was like, no, wouldn't say no. Who knows? Crazy things happen. Okay. Janice Patrice, thank you. Appreciate you both. Merci beaucoup. Creation by Sue. JC. What is blocking both my daughter and I from losing weight? Oh, this is good. Okay. What can we do to release these or those blocks? I so want her to be healthy. Sue and daughter. What are maybe energetic blocks to them losing weight? Is this past karma they have to deal with? What's going on there with them? That's a great question. Thank you, Sue.
Well, okay, again, we have the badger right in the middle. So badger can be hard on themselves. So watch internal voices and beating yourself up for the extra weight. Instead, sort of love it up and have a mantra that says, I will be my healthiest self by this time next year, instead of oh my goodness, I'm too big, this is not healthy, blah 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 blah, whatever you're saying to yourself, because badger can be too aggressive or hard on themselves if it's done internally, right?
Mhm.
Badger is obviously necessary sometimes, but not if you're doing it against your own self. Our self, what you'll do is you'll hang on to everything if you're telling yourself mean things. Yourself is very, very precious. What you have to talk kind to it, and I've learned to be my own best friend. I yup myself up really every day.
You're your best date.
Oh my
Bring myself to the
goodness.
movies and to the dinner. Yeah, I
Yeah,
love it.
yeah. I'd
I
be
love
hard
it.
to beat as a date, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah. So we've got rebirth. So
Okay.
you'll rebirth yourself when you truly love yourself just the way you are. Yourself just wants you to love it and stop putting it down.
Hmm.
Learn to love that, and say, every day I get healthier and I work towards, every day I make better choices, every day I say that instead of what you're not doing, and say it as if it's true, because the whole world's an illusion anyway. So create your own personal illusion. When
Hmm.
I first had my daughter, I was 31 when I got pregnant with her, and I put on, it was my first pregnancy, and I'd never had a weight problem before that, but I put on, for some reason, in my first like 85 pounds or something over a pregnancy. It's totally unnecessary, but I did.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
afterwards, of course, she was 8 pounds 3 ounces, and then maybe a little placenta. So we're talking, I lost 10 pounds the day I birthed her. So now I got 70 something pounds extra. So every day I just knew to do this. And I don't know, like, I never read like any kind of esoteric books on it, or I didn't know this philosophy yet. My soul just told me, look in the mirror and love yourself up. So every day, even though it was kind of hard to do, I would look in the mirror and go, wow, look at those curves, look at those new curves. And I just fell in love with myself just the way I was. And I kept just being kind and saying, you know what, every day I just lose a little. Before I knew it, within 6 weeks, I was right back to where I started, and didn't even do anything different. Didn't
Wow.
diet, didn't, I just loved myself and told myself good things.
Very good. Okay, that was a great question, Sue. Thank you so much. And speaking about being your best date, there are some women around the world, of course, looking for dates who wish to have a partner here, and their criteria is a little bit higher than it used to be. This coming up from Australia. Cliff High was tweeting this, and it's funny because it was in the web data almost a year ago. That men who didn't have the thing would suddenly be in high demand. And here we are having a reflection of that now, through the language coming up in society. So I want to ask the cards, is this going to be a thing here? We talked about the sperm banks and how things were being messed up there with Bryce last week, I think, or 2 weeks ago, you and I on the show.
Yep.
But what's going on there? Is this going to be a thing moving next year, where these people not just are going to be in high demand, maybe in the dating world and procreation world, but also in the labor force participation also?
Yeah.
What's going on?
Unbelievable. Yeah. So unbelievable. We're going to be in that kind of place. Well, and that's quite humorous, but at the same time, kind of true. Like, I literally wouldn't even consider dating somebody who'd had any kind of done anything silly, like take that. I wouldn't. I'd be like, wouldn't treat him bad or anything, but I'd be like, no way. We're not dating.
No, hey, Jose. Yeah.
Yes, forget it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's have a look.
Yeah.
So I'm going to agree with that. What they
And it's funny because they're so what's the word in English? Unapologetic. It's just like, hey, that's what we're looking for. We're serious.
Totally. Hello.
I love it. I kind of caught Jim by surprise with that today too, and he got a little bit red in the face, and then we were able to joke about it. But I'm like, yeah, it's just reality's a bitch, man. At some point, this has to come out, and people have to think about it. Yeah.
Yep. We got the ace. Yeah, they're going to be
A big yes. Wow.
The big sought after and the eagles of the society, because and another thing, any like for myself, I wouldn't even look at a guy twice if he's wearing a mask, like walking around. Like, for sure, I've been known to wear a mask in a store if I just don't feel like having the hassle. But
Yeah.
for the most part, lately, I haven't for a really long time. But every once in a while, when I just don't feel like it, and I want to go to a certain store that's going to give me a hassle, I'll put one on, but not very often. So I wouldn't worry about that. But if somebody's walking around or driving in their car with one of those, okay, why would I even want to talk to somebody like that? Like, that's too foolish for me. Like, seriously, you got to use your noggin. Okay, walking outside in fresh air with one of those when you don't need to have one on. Now,
I mean, that's bad enough, like the criteria. But I mean, do you want that person inside you? This is what we're alluding to, and this is what Jim was saying. Like, it's one thing to talk to a person who maybe made bad choices and be in the same vicinity and share the same air. But being inside one another is a complete different story. Like, I can read from the screen here.
Not just that. What they're thinking about future children. They're thinking they're just thinking about their personal health.
Yeah, absolutely. So I want to hear from you guys. If you're watching in the show now, tell us, are you looking for unvax partners? Yes or no? Tell us, and tell us in the comment section below too. I'm going to do a survey on this and see what you guys think. Absolutely crazy times we live in for this to actually be a topic of conversation. It's wow. Hell no to the vax. What's that fruit? What's that fruit she's putting on there? Do you see that? What are those? Zucchinis? That's not a zucchini. What's that thing?
Oh, that's a zucchini.
Zucchini? Okay, hell no to the vax. Eggplant. Yeah. Okay.
My
bigger
son
than zucchini.
said I can't use that emoji because it means something. He's like, don't use that emoji, Mom.
Okay, that's too fun. Okay, let's go to this one. A fascinating question. I think this is the last one. We're already on the hour mark from Wilma. Okay, let me see. Let's scroll in the middle here. Okay, can you pull about people in BC talking about? I could say that here. Ill effects. I'll just say that ill effects coming from as a result of maybe destruction underground and some of these things coming up to the air where people and their pets are losing hair and having their skin burn. What the hell? Is there something to that? Lots going on, of course, in BC right now with the floodings also. It's a huge disaster over there.
Okay, I don't know. This card, Lynx, is keeper of the secrets. And there's something kind of like, I'm not sure they're getting the whole story on that, or did they personally have that experience? Are we being like, is fear-based things being put around again? Because Opossum says, just wait, play dead. So don't move on that story.
Okay.
I'm not buying it entirely. There's a whole bunch of fear-based fear. Like, there's just as much sort of fear out of the good guy camp as the bad guy camp to counteract all the absurdity and to get everybody to the crescendo of awakeness that they need. I'm telling you. So I can usually feel like when something's not worth listening to, and that didn't feel worthy unless somebody had a personal experience. I'm not buying it. Okay.
Well, there's distraction on every side of the fence here. So, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Christina, hold on. It's going so fast. How many are in there? 6,000 tonight. All right. Hey. Fascinating times. Okay, Janine, I think we're here for tonight. Do you want to pull cards? Maybe Anything cool, seeing as you have a different deck tonight for the audience members before we go and come back tomorrow night? And guys, while she pulls cards, oh, hold on. Well, go ahead, Janine. I want to interrupt you. Go ahead.
I love this one. This is a really loving card. So, but without ego too. So Turkey doesn't have an ego. Turkey's like the eagle of the deck without the ego. Okay, because of course the eagle, and the eagle reminds me of Mr. T, by the way, and he does have a big ego. Like you get, yeah, there's a lot of great things about him, but he does have, and that's okay. To be honest, with my Venus in Aries, I love big egos. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
Strut around with the big ego, you'll probably get my attention. Okay, so we've got this Turkey, but Turkey is the humble one who's actually doing as much as eagle, but without wanting attention for it. So that's interesting. So we'll look at that. And fox is very stealth and watchful. So let's be watchful and stealth and very observant. Fox is very observant and not just buy into just anything, right? Let's really keep our eyes open for subtle things. So this feels like subtlety somehow to me, because there's a subtle nature to that Turkey. And then a subtle, really positive though, because Turkey's a really great card, but subtle. So watch for subtle things, because there's all of these things going on just under the surface that I feel like are about to show themselves. I think we're about to see a big shift in our narrative, and it starts out with all these subtle changes. I've been seeing nonstop things, really weird, like for instance, what happened with that Kyle case. I feel like we're going to see a lot more of that, where something you thought would go the usual narrative that's very disappointing. Hey, Robin's on there. Woohoo! Robin's the one that lent me this deck of cards, by the way. So that's
you're betraying your location there, Janine. Well, maybe not, you know.
Anyway. Hi, Robin.
Hi, Robin.
I'm about to go over for dinner. I hope dinner's ready.
In the meantime, folks, you can check out soultemple.love and our last interview with Robin. It's one of the deepest, most incredible interviews we've done so far this year. If you read the comments in both of our sites, because we were simulcasting that, absolutely amazing. And even for the three of us, we're still digesting a lot of the information that came out of that, and we cannot wait to have Robin back on the show.
And I pulled one more, and it's for everybody to remember. The elk has stamina, so it's like a hold your ground, hang in there. Elk doesn't. They just keep going and going and going. They got stamina, and they pace themselves. Okay, so we have to pace ourselves too. Like some people just get super excited about every little bit of news. I'm sort of more looking at just the big picture, and I can feel the trend. I can feel the shift, and I'm just going with that, and not getting too excited about any one little thing, but I feel the whole shift. And elk might be something like that. Just see the big picture and go with it's a long haul, but we've got what it takes, like the elk. We've got what it takes.
Mm-hmm. Okay, very good. Well, that's all good news. And folks, just on a quick sidebar here, we had a little bit of a setback on our website here today. Can't really get into the details, but my techies were telling us that something broke in the back end, and it caused a little bit of stress to Janine and I, and we're trying to figure out where it came from and fixing it. But it was a weird situation. I'll just say that. And hopefully when these tech guys give me a little bit more detail, we'll be able to share with you. But at any rate, a big thank you to everyone who support us with the PayPal tip jar. You do absolutely make a difference and make it possible for us to do all of these shows. So big thank you to you guys. And on Wednesday, I'll be announcing the winner of tonight's PayPal tip jar donation contest for the Insider Access Pass. So we'll announce that on Wednesday. And yes, to those people here, the coupon code is now back up and running. It's Stay Connected, and that will give you 10% off here the yearly Insider Access Pass on BeyondMystic.net, where all of our crazy uncensored information reside. Oh shoot, I have to ask you this. We talked about it in the last pay-per-view, Janine, but the main public hasn't seen this yet. You and I have decided to push back, because we were getting energetic pushback, the episode on the Disney World Decode. Can you explain that to the audience here very quickly before we go tonight?
Yeah, we were just getting both of us just a feeling to put the brakes on that one, and we don't know why. Sometimes when you get that intuitively, it's because something's going to go down, in the back channel or the world at large that somehow needs to be added to the episode, or will change everything or our whole perspective or something. So it's maybe a timing thing, but it's like 3/4 ready to go, isn't it? But we just can't seem to get it up there because it's not the right time. So we're just trying to honor what our intuitions say about it.
Right. And we're going to do another one also coming up. And I think Janine and I are going to entitle it, It's Complicated and Hijacked. So those were the key words for this other one, a special investigation that we're also preparing for you guys. But we're very cognizant that some of these special investigations take a little bit more tact, I guess, and being adroit as it pertains to the energy field. They're a little bit more over the target maybe than we usually are, so we have to be a little bit more careful. So that's why. Anyway, so a few people of you emailed me asking me where it was in the Insider Ask Us Pass. It's not there because we haven't recorded it yet, and we've had some weird body reactions in some cases and some weird energies anyways around this whole show. So bear with us. We'll eventually get to that, and we'll keep putting some amazing content on that for you guys as well. All right, guys, that's it for tonight. I'm holding up Janine here, and she is hungry. Hungry like a wolf, speaking of the system card. And so please do go and subscribe here at Sending Ravens here. And don't forget, tomorrow night, Medina and Janine will be back at 9 o'clock Eastern for another soul trauma healing show. That's going to be absolutely cool. So please join us for that. And also please remember to like, share, and subscribe here on Beyond Mystic. Tomorrow, finally, we have Bruce Teasall coming back. That's at 4 p.m. We're going to talk about his amazing captures on the moon and some of this really cool warlike situation he's picking up on his camera. And we also have May Levy coming up for another healing session at 7 o'clock tomorrow. So big day tomorrow. Join us for that. I'm Jean-Claude Beyond Mystic. I love you guys. And this was Tarot Reading by Janine. Take care, everyone. Have a good evening, and we'll see you soon. Au revoir.
Au revoir.